Dr. Tony Hughes of EnhancedAthlete.com here with Amy, who crashed her metabolism by dieting too hard 4 years ago. You guys have asked me so many questions about T3, T4, metabolism, hardcore dieting. We've covered this topic many times, but this is a unique new situation. It's probably not as unique as I think it is. But she overheard our conversation in the next table over there and started telling us about how when she dieted on 800 calories, right? And 4 years ago, preparing for a national, what division?
The USA's bikini.
Bikini national competition in which USA's is Vegas?
Mm-hmm.
In Las Vegas. And you were training 2 hours a day, 800 calories.
No carbs, no fats.
No carbs, no fat, just protein.
Yeah, protein. My only carb was broccoli.
But she didn't take any T3 or T4. It's not like she burned out her thyroid by taking T3.
I didn't take any steroids at that point or any supplement. I wasn't even allowed to take protein powder, so it was all straight food.
When and how did you know that your metabolism crashed, that your thyroid shut down?
It was about 2 weeks before my last show in October of 2012 or 12, yeah. And my body started to blow up right before my show instead of dropping water. And I talked to my coach at the time and I said, you know, what's going on? And he tried to blame me, saying I didn't follow my diet and that clearly I did something wrong, and just kept pushing me up until the show. I got second call out. First time I hadn't gotten first call out. And for my off season, he put me down to, because he said I couldn't follow a diet, 25 grams of carbs a day, or 27 technically, with 1/2 cup of oatmeal, and then everything else is the same. 120 grams of protein, and then that's about it. I can have green vegetables and nothing else. So
how long did you say you went on that extreme diet?
Well, the 800 calories was about 2 months, and then after that, for another 5-6 months, I was on anywhere between 1,000 to like maybe 1,200 calories a day at the high. He carb cycled me, but still no fats the entire time.
And now, as it stands today, how's your metabolism?
It's getting better. It's still not near where it should be as far as my caloric intake. I've slowly gotten up to close to 2,000, but I still train 6 days a week, and I'm a very athletic, competitive person. I had to cut out cardio for a year, because when I did any cardio, my body actually started to blow up again because of my metabolism freaked out anytime I did any extra work above and beyond what I was supposed to. So I have to be very careful about, which sounds opposite of everyone, but about how much cardio I do or how low I drop my calories, because my body does the opposite of what it's supposed to do.
Have you been to a doctor, had any lab work done?
I've probably spent $15,000 on doctors. Yeah, I'm not, because a lot of it's not covered by insurance, so.
And what does the lab results say? Your thyroid levels are low?
I'm now low in testosterone, low in progesterone, adrenal fatigue, so they have me on something for that for the last 6 months. But then every other doctor says it just doesn't make sense, because like my HGH is abnormally high, which typically would mean, you lose weight easily, but nothing quite adds up. So I've gone to multiple specialists, from hormone specialists in LA, where they charge $500 just to see them, to integrative medicine doctors, and every single time they're like, we fix one thing and then they find another problem. But, and so it's just like that give and take of how many things are you willing to take and try to hopefully get at least 50% better.
So what is the main thing that the doctor has prescribed to you that you've used to try and keep the metabolism artificially
the thyroid, and also from hydrocortisone for adrenal fatigue. And unfortunately, I know people say that you can overcome this, but every single blood test says that my body's super insulin resistant now because of not having carbs. So for me, I have to be very careful about carbs and do much higher fat in order to make sure I don't become pre-diabetic than I do carbs.
You had mentioned the supplement that your doctor prescribed that was a combination of T3, T4. What's that called?
It's called Armor.
Armor.
Yeah, the main two that they prescribe is either Synthroid or Armor thyroid.
And this is actually at the pharmacy? You pick it up like with a prescription, or is it over the counter?
Prescription.
And does it have anything else, or is it just T3, T4?
I believe it's just T3, T4.
Okay, we'll have to look into that too. That's interesting. We've been looking into desiccated pig thyroid and things like that as some natural alternatives that contain T3, T4. Enhanced Athlete actually sells T3, T4, and that's the main question I get is, if I take it, am I going to crash my own thyroid? And I have to say, of course, this is not medical advice. Yeah. I'm not telling you to use these things.
I think so many athletes make that mistake of taking, their coaches recommend them taking T3 to boost weight loss, and they don't really talk about what it actually does in the long run, especially if you're doing over and above a very minute dose of what a doctor would give you,
So what I haven't seen because I do review a lot of blood work. I get blood work on myself. What I haven't seen is someone taking T3 or T4 and then crashing their own thyroid levels permanently.
After stopping it, you mean?
Correct. Yeah, which is counterintuitive because that can happen with a lot of other supplements, and the thyroid is very sensitive. It does shut down. The thyroid does shut down, but it bounces back very quickly. So it's interesting to hear that your crash dieting, your hardcore dieting, had more of an impact on your thyroid and metabolism, negative long-term impact, than actually taking the T3 or the T4.
Right, yeah. I mean, I also unfortunately am autoimmune, so there's a lot of things that play in the part for me that I think my body just can't take as extremes as a lot of other people. So when you think you're listening to somebody who knows what they're doing in the industry and you just blindly follow them because they have, national level competitors and IFBB pros, you're like, all right, they know what they're doing. This is clearly what it takes. I've never done it before. So
as an experienced competitor, and now having been 4 years later and being in the fitness supplement industry yourself, going back in time, how would you have dieted for that show instead of this crash diet?
I wouldn't have trained with the coach I trained with. I mean, now looking into it, there's two types of dieting. There's either such extreme, especially with bikini competitors, where it's like, you take out all your carbs and you completely cut water, you completely cut everything right before, you take the prescription diuretics, you do all these things that a bodybuilder would do, which I don't feel is necessary. I think that, that's when people have the
not necessary for bikini.
Yeah. No, it's like, yeah, I get it when you're getting more into like a figure, national competitor, bodybuilder, even classic men's physique. But like when you're at the low end, you shouldn't have to diet that hard in order to step on stage. In my opinion, you should already have the muscle, and you should be able to slowly go down in calories. You should never go below, in my opinion, like a 1,400 calorie diet, unless it was like the day, 2 days before, because your body's going to crash, and that's when the name around metabolic damage gets such a bad rep, because so many girls are put on these 1,200 calorie diets for 6, 8, 12 weeks, and then they just freak out after the show and just eat everything in sight, and they claim metabolic damage. So 9 out of 10 girls that claim that are really just, they don't know how to reverse diet or how to maintain a lifestyle that was put on them that's not maintainable in the first place.
So what would your carb, protein, fat intake have been like if you were going to diet?
I don't know. I mean,
what would you do differently?
Well, if I would have known at the time that I'm more of a high fat type of dieter, I probably would have put my starting fats at around 120, my protein I keep my protein a little bit lower as well, like 110, 115, and then not over 100 grams of carbs. And I probably, leading into the show for me, would have carb cycled. So doing high and low days, or 0 days to like maybe 200 grams. But I don't think I would ever drop my calories below like probably 1,450, 1,500, because that just at rest is at 1,570 calories. So, you don't want to go much below that, especially when you're training so hard towards the end.
So guys, this story from Amy here is very consistent with my understanding of bodybuilding guru Amin and Coach Trevor's theories on cutting or getting bodybuilder show or bikini or physique show ready. And that is not to crash diet, that the metabolism is very sensitive. And what Amin had me do when I cut out all fats and carbs before the last show, he had me put in small amounts of carbs throughout the day, and my metabolism shot up, and I burned so many more calories. I burned so much fat. My body temperature went up, my energy went up. It was so much better. But you've also heard from Vio. We've interviewed Vio, who's a national level competitor who crash dieted for 7 weeks, and it worked for him. So it's another lesson, and also potentially everybody's different. Everybody's different. But it seems like by default, we don't want to crash diet.
Not be more than like a month tops, because the longer you go, your body just does not recover from that.
Thank you very much, Amy. It's been a pleasure meeting you. We're going to talk more with Amy in the future. We're going to network on Facebook. We have some mutual friends. Be swell and swole, my friends of freedom, pioneers of human evolution.